Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. It's the final investigation for the final case of the final game in the first trilogy. Because there's one more trilogy. Hopefully we'll be getting a seventh game one day. One day. I mean, technically there's already a seventh game if you count the great Ace Attorney games. Man, I need a seventh Phoenix Wright game. It doesn't even have to be Phoenix Wright. It could be Athena or Apollo Justice again as like the main character. But man, just bring the characters back, please. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, February 9th, 3:43 a.m. Hottie Clinic Intensive Care Unit. I have to see this fucking gremlin again. I'm still up at this hour, reading through the trial record of a certain case. The first case my mentor, Mia Fey, had ever handled in a court of law. The horrifying truth that I refuse to accept is holding me hostage here within its pages. Dahlia Hawthorne. What I have read, I don't want to believe. What is written here? This isn't the Dahlia I knew. After falling into Eagle River, I was somehow miraculously saved. But I ended up catching a cold that seemed to knock me around the world and back. I feel dizzy, my ears are ringing, my throat burns, and my head is on fire. But I will recover. I have to recover by this afternoon. I have to meet with the most ill-tempered witness imaginable. But I know that he will be able to help me with him, somehow. February 9th, 2:43 p.m., Dusky Bridge. Right. Are you sure you're well enough to be doing this? You still look a little green in the face. Or maybe Viridian in artist speak. Actually, my fever has gone down quite a bit. How's your temperature now? Only 102.2 degrees. Nothing to worry about. Anyway, I read today's trial record. You weren't bad, Edgeworth. Pretty impressive despite the circumstances. We're not in the clear yet. The main point of contention tomorrow is going to be the murder weapon. Yeah. In the end, the Shichishito did not deliver the deadly blow, which means there must be another sword hiding out there. That we don't know about. Another sword, huh? Don't you worry about a thing, pal. I'll dig up the murder weapon myself, or I'll eat my coat. Thanks again, Edgeworth. I'll handle things from here. That is probably for the best. Actually, I was thinking about paying the old precinct a little visit. There's something I want to look into. And that is our client's background, naturally. You mean Iris, sir? I have the feeling that we've met before. All I want is confirmation, one way or the other. And since I probably won't be getting that from you... I'm sorry, Edgeworth. I bid you adieu, Wright. Take care. Guess I should get moving too. Why? Do you need to be somewhere? Yeah, I've got to get to work on this bridge, pal. I'm rigging something up so we can get across to the other side. That's right. Maya's still stuck over there at the inner temple. But don't you worry, pal. As soon as it's all set, you'll be the first to know. Thank you, Gumshoe. Thank you, Gumshoe. No problem, pal. Just try not to give me that cough of yours, okay? Alright, I'm off. Hang in there, Maya. We'll get you out, I promise. But in the meantime, I've got to continue collecting evidence. Hazakura Temple doesn't have a single private phone line, and there aren't any houses in the area, so I guess Bikini is the only one who uses this. I really wish I had brought my cell phone with me. Now it really is more of a dusty bridge than a dusky bridge. That kidnapping incident happened here 11 years ago, so maybe it's cursed, too. It looks like it's about 20 yards to that cliff over there, but I can't see the inner temple from here. I really hope Maya's okay. That thing looks like it's ready to collapse, at least more than it did before. According to Bikini, Eagle Mountain is very prone to earthquakes. Which reminds me, if my memory serves me correctly, Edgeworth isn't exactly a fan of earthquakes. There's a narrow path going off in a different direction than that of the main hall. Looks like someone's taken the effort to write "To Heavenly Hall" on the signpost. I wonder who that could be. Ba-ba-dum-ba. Heavenly Hall. Looks like no one's here. Larry! Maurice! I was sure he'd be hiding here. Guess I'll try again later. That stuff is really ruining the beautiful atmosphere around here. It's so inappropriate. Like Sister Bikini in a bikini. Ugh, I've got to think of the kittens. That's Dusky Bridge up there. It's amazing how clearly you could see it from so far away. Larry supposedly saw everything through the shack's window. Not much light gets down here, so it must be pitch black at night. But this area was probably illuminated that night because of the burning bridge above. This is the famous Eagle River. I got to try out its rough rapids the other night. They say it's a really strong current, and they weren't kidding. It's both powerful and fast-flowing. I was dead lucky. I mean, lucky not to be dead. Oh, come on now. Look at this graffiti scrawled right on the front of the shack. At least he managed to get a pretty good likeness. When I really think about it, I guess art kind of suits him. I mean, his very existence is an art of sorts. I don't know, he's pretty good. Since I assume he, like, just started. It's not bad. The snow is really piled up on the straw roof. It's otherworldly, like something out of a fairy tale. Well, the roof part anyway. The sign says Heavenly Hall. I guess it's pretty fitting. If you spent a night in this little freezing shack, you'd probably find yourself at the pearly gates by morning. These steps lead up to the foot of Dusky Bridge. Coming down is a cinch, but going back up doesn't look like a walk in the park. I'm starting to understand why rivers always want to flow downstream and not up. Come on, please, it's for art's sake, I swear! There's only one guy I know who could be this persistent and high-strung. I'm talking about the heroine here. The heroine in my book. It will make you famous. Ah! Enough! A fool's fool fools who foolishly accepts the foolishness of a fool's fool. Wouldn't you agree, Phoenix Wright? Huh? Me? Wait a second. I know you. You're, ow! Your reflexes and mine need to shape up. My brain's frying like a sunny side up, and you want to grill me over a name? Francie, you can't do that! Even as we speak, Nick's on the brink of death. Or so I'm told. Whip a dead horse. Isn't that one of your American sayings? No, it's not. And I'm not on the brink of anything. Come on, Nick. Tell her, would you? Tell her she needs to model for my new picture book, Francie's Whippity Whip Trip. Before you ask me to model, learn to give at least semi-coherent testimony. And before that, you'll have to learn how to live a semi-coherent life, Larry. I don't care what anyone says, I'm telling the truth. I saw what I saw. She flew, I'm telling you. Whoosh, just like the dude with the red underwear. Don't think I'm gonna forgive you guys when you come crawling back to apologize. Off he goes. It's amazing how little has changed with you in the past year, Phoenix Wright. Have you been in Germany all this time? That's right. Extending my perfect win record, naturally. Oh joy, sounds like she hasn't changed a bit. Has it really been a year since we first met? I am Franziska von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Franziska was born and raised in Germany and became a prosecutor at the age of 13. Her father was the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. He had a perfect win record for 40 long years. But now, he's gone from this world. Don't tell me you still hold a grudge against me. Because of what happened to your father. Phoenix Wright, you will fall before me. This I promise. But it will be for my sake, not my father's. Are we clear? Yes, Crystal. In truth, I was shocked. I came back to America with the intention of defeating you. Instead, it was my little brother who was leading the defense. Edgeworth. Come to think of it, Edgeworth was pulled into being a prosecutor by Manfred von Karma as well. Miles Edgeworth told me something very interesting, you know. He said his case has a special significance to you. Because it does. And that's precisely why I am here. Your personal involvement will make crushing you into teensy-weensy pieces all the better. It's probably the fever, but he's so openly hostile that it's almost kind of cute. Ow! No smirking. No whipping the sick. That foolish fool doing such a foolish favor for such a foolishly foolish fool. Edgeworth. Make no mistake, Phoenix Wright. I came here for one thing and one thing only. Pulverize you. It's not like I thought you were here to bring me some cold killer X, you know. I went over the whole case file on the flight over. You read the whole thing? Yes, every last word of every last sentence of every last paragraph. All the ridiculous things you did made it very interesting read, you know. Attempting to cross a burning bridge. Did you even consider the dangers? No. The only thought in my mind was I have to get across. A fool who doesn't think is more foolish than a fool who foolishly thinks. Gumshoe said he'd let me know once the bridge was repaired. Maya, she's gotta be okay. I just know it. Plus, I need to ask her about what really happened at the Inner Temple that night. I'd love to know what that thing was used for on the night of the crime. Huh. Still thinking small, I see, Phoenix Wright. Or perhaps not at all. That's why you will never defeat me. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't recall ever losing to you. It's time for us to settle this once and for all with our one final showdown. Looks like she's mentally blocked out all my victories over her from her memory. You can see the main hall from here. I wonder how the head nun is holding up. Oh, wow. Is that an inkling of human kindness I sense? No! Did you enjoy causing other people pain with that sharp tongue of yours? Nothing compared to the pain you caused with that leathery whip of yours. This is one impressive gate. Compared to the grandeur of the main gate of the Von Karma estate, it's but a pet door. Looks really idyllic with all the snow on it, don't you think? Oh, that snow? Don't make me laugh. This is but a light dusting where I come from. Don't make things up just because you think I'll never get to see it for myself. It's a quaint little bell tower. I never would have thought that something this horrible was about to happen when Iris rang the lights out bell that night. Ow! Have you seen a little girl? Ow! Ow! I don't think she's interested in talking to me at all. Yeah. That was one long sigh. Sister Bikini? My, I didn't know you were here. How are you doing? Hmm. You don't have to pretend to be in a good mood for my sake. I suppose I've made a terrible mess of things, haven't I? I let Mystic Elise die, and then there's Iris as well. Mystic Elise. Now that I think about it, There's an acolyte stuck in the inner temple, and that poor little girl has gone missing too. That little girl? You don't mean Pearls, do you? Yes, I'm afraid I do. She hasn't been seen since the morning after the incident. Pearls? She's missing. Why didn't anyone tell me about this? I must be getting old. I think I've seriously lost faith in myself. Are you talking about your performance at the trial today? You believe me, don't you? I'm not a liar. I would never lie. I know what I saw. I saw Iris pull that sword from Mystic Elise's body that night. I'm certain of it. At least, I was until this morning. I don't see any psyche locks, so she must be telling the truth. So why are you so sure of yourself all of a sudden? You know that artist who testified after me? I saw Iris flying, her white hood fluttering. I feel like I might start flying myself. When I saw that man testify so fervently about something so impossible, I started to wonder if I had acted just like him when I was on the witness stand. I wouldn't take that guy too seriously. He's an artist, but all he draws is trouble, and nothing else. If both Bikini and Larry are telling the truth, it can only mean one thing. They both didn't see what they think they saw. On the night of the incident, you met Iris at the Inner Temple, is that correct? That's right! I'm sure it was Iris! But Iris claims she was in her room in Hazakura Temple. I knew I shouldn't have come back here that night! But because you did, Maya's stuck all by herself at the Inner Temple. I'm so sorry. The drafts in that place are just nothing to shake a stick at. Winter is especially bad. I'll bet. The training hall looks like it's about to fall down any second. Eagle Mountain has always been prone to earthquakes, just so you know. Earthquakes? Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if the next big one levels the training hall. We've got to get Maya out of there. Fast. But still, there's really no need to worry. That area on the other side of Dusky Bridge is isolated like an island. Like an island? How so? Well, the only thing on that side of the bridge is the Inner Temple. No one lives out there, and it's surrounded on all sides by the river or the forest. I see. So a criminal would be trapped should they choose to flee in that direction. And so long as the bridge is out of commission, he or she will have to stay there. That means Maya could be stuck out there with a murderer, and with no way to escape either. Oh dear, yes, I suppose it does. Ugh. Please, Gumshoe, get that bridge up faster. I'm curious about a few things, if you don't mind answering some questions. Oh, do you need to know my measurements for your investigation or something? No. I want to know a little more about the victim, Miss Elise Dunham. I'm afraid I don't know her waist size, or her bust size for that matter. No. I'm wondering why she came to a place to stay in a place like this to begin with. I mean, she told us herself that she wasn't here for spiritual training. My, you make it sound like this place is some sort of dump, Mr. Wright. Mystic Elise was here to soak up the natural beauty of Eagle Mountain, if you must know. There, you did it again, Sister Bikini. I noticed you always refer to Miss Dunham as Mystic Elise. Oh? Yes. Now why is that? After all, she's not here as an acolyte. We address all of our visitors as mystic. It makes their experience feel authentic. And anyway, she's older than me. You must respect your elders, you know. How do you know that? How can you say for sure that she's older than you? Yeah. Fuck. There's so many fives. Seems Miss Elise Dunham was no ordinary visitor after all. And there's Pearls. She was with Miss Dunham on the evening of the murder, and now she's vanished. It's all gotta be connected somehow. Why did Pearls have to get mixed up in this mess? Please, Mr. Wright, I know you're worried, but try to keep it together. Oh, man. My head's throbbing so bad, it's killing me. Pearls. She was with Miss Dunham on the night of the murder, right? Remember? Yes, but I have a temple to run, you know. I was busy preparing for the training. I didn't see the little darling even once after we'd finished eating dinner. Murder. It didn't take place right in front of her innocent eyes, did it? According to the detective, she hasn't turned up at her home either. Come on, keep calm. There's one place left where Pearls could be. She just has to be there. Come on, Gumshoe. Tell me you'll be done with the repair soon. The courtyard. This is where Sister Bikini witnessed the incident. It's hard to imagine she was lying on the stand, so maybe there are some clues that have yet to be found. The main gate's on the other side of the stone wall. The difference in elevation is almost 10 feet. That's how steep this hillside is. That's also the height of a body fell from, according to the autopsy. Is it possible that Miss Dunham was pushed from the top of this wall? How do I examine this? They get quite a bit of snow up here on Eagle Mountain. Around here, skis aren't just for fun, they're tools for getting around. But the sled, now that's gotta be for Bikini's own personal entertainment. The Shichishito. It's here in Mystic Amy's right hand. But it was proven in court today that it wasn't the murder weapon. Given the design, it must have been used for some pretty gruesome things in the past. The building up there is the main hall. It was where we were staying. It's kind of funny because it's built on a very steep slope. If you enter from the main gate side, those rooms above me are on the ground floor. Apparently, Miss Dunham was staying in the corner room. I guess that's where she was pushed from that night. There are a few of these stone lanterns scattered around in this courtyard. Without the city glare to compete with, I imagine they would seem a lot brighter. I guess Sister Bikini must light them now, since Iris can't be here. Miss Dunham's staff. I definitely remember there being a crystal sphere attached to the staff. I guess Larry eventually found the sphere near the foot of Dusky Bridge, but what was it doing all the way out there? Seems like the end of the road. Hey! Woohoo, that was jarring! Considerably loud yell. So this is where you've been, keeping nice and warm, I see. Detective, have you finished repairing the bridge? Yeah, I did. I told you I'd let you know. Well, then I'll come along with you and... Sorry, ma'am. No unauthorized entry. Access is restricted to people involved in the case. What was that? I'm involved, aren't I? You couldn't get much more involved than me. Well, yeah, but that's not what I mean. Ah! It's been a while, Scruffy. It's Miss Von Karma! Sister, please leave the investigation to me. My. Well, you certainly seem to have everything under control. I'm on your side. I won't do anything you don't want me to. As you work to pin the guilt on Iris. What are you daydreaming about, Phoenix Wright? Ow, that hurts, you know. Silence. I, Francisca Von Karma, will personally guide you through your investigation. So you will follow me. She's not seriously gonna follow me around, is she? Damn. Things have certainly become a lot more hectic than before. They must have commenced with the investigation.
Oh, Mr. Nick!
That voice. Pearls!
Mr. Nick! Mr. Nick!
This poor child. So you were here ever since that night?
I was so lonely. I thought I was going to die. When I woke up in the morning and saw that dusky bridge was gone, I realized I was all alone.
She was all alone?
It must have been very trying for you, little girl. Ah! You're...
I am Francisca von Karma, the prodigy. There's no need to worry now that I'm here.
You're the prosecutor who was so mean to Mystic Maya last year.
Well... I don't like you. You're nothing but a little girl without your whip.
Mystic Maya didn't do anything wrong, but you were so mean. I'll never forgive you.
Looks like Pearl's words are getting under her skin. What are you gonna do? Whip a child? Ow, no, you're gonna whip me. Why are you whipping me? I didn't even say anything. You didn't have to. The smile on your lips gave you away. Anyway, Pearls, weren't you with Maya?
Ah! I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
Huh? What are you talking about, Pearls? Uh-oh. Hey, wait, Pearls! She just ran off. Ow! That was cruel, Phoenix Wright. To make a little girl cry like that is inexcusable. What was that all about? Pearl's acting like that. It's giving me the creeps. I guess I'd better take another look around since I finally got a chance. Especially since something about this place seems different from 2 days ago. Phoenix Wright! What? And would you stop calling me by my full name like that? Was this once a prosperous port? A port? Yes, that middle hook is a mooring post for boats, you know. Oh, that. That's an anchor for one of the wires that used to hold up the bridge. I think the wire that was tied to this one probably snapped when the bridge burned down. I mean, there's no way there was ever a port all the way up here. Don't get smart with me, Phoenix Wright. But I didn't say anything. Leave me alone. Look at all the Buddha statues lined up along this path. Phoenix Wright. Do you think this is how many siblings the head nun has? Why don't you ask her the next time you see her? You know what? I think I will. And she'll probably slap you for prying into her private affairs. You can see Dusky Bridge from here. It's an unusually long bridge, isn't it? I would say it's about 20 yards. I guess the gorge is too wide to cross with a piece of rope or wire, huh? Therefore, no one has crossed the gorge in either direction since the night of the murder. A simple yet sound deduction, wouldn't you say, Phoenix Wright? There's a weird smell coming from that incinerator. The door is also open, almost like it's begging me to look inside. Well, well, let's see what stunning clue is concealed in here, shall we? Huh? It's empty. How naive of you, Phoenix Wright. But it's a bit strange, don't you think? Francisca von Karma? I seem to remember... There was snow on this incinerator the first time I saw it. In other words, someone's been using it to burn something recently. Listen, Phoenix Wright. It's impertinent to call people by their full name. I was only copying you. There's a little gate that leads into the garden. There's no entry on the sign, though. Oh, now, Phoenix Wright, what are you doing? Let's go in. It's half open anyway. What harm could come of it? But it says no entry. Don't you Americans enjoy doing whatever you like and then simply saying whatever? That's got nothing to do with anything. And who told you that? The sign says Inner Temple. I don't know how you're reading it, but it's incomprehensible to me. Actually, I can't read it either. Feigning comprehension isn't a very good habit to have, Phoenix Wright. She looks really happy to have finally caught me on something. This must be the door that leads to the inner temple, where Maya Fey was training on the night of the murder. Yes, there's a solitary room here called the training hall. You could do with some training yourself, Phoenix Wright. Ow! You're completely out of shape. Ugh. I don't know how much more of this woman I can take. What's wrong? Why are you so quiet? Maya, she was supposed to be in here training. Yet, it appears she's nowhere to be seen. What's that? That strange lock. It wasn't there 2 days ago. This whole room is really giving off some strange vibes. It's an antique dresser. Don't you dare open it, Phoenix Wright! Now I know how Maya feels when I tell her not to touch things. What a pity. It's full of nothing but old clothes for the acolytes. I thought we weren't opening it. I'm from the prosecutor's office. I can do anything. Yeah, you can do anything, except stand up to a 9-year-old girl. Look at those wafer-thin mattresses. I'm sorry, Phoenix Wright. Wafer-thin? Yeah, you know, thin like a wafer. In other words, uncomfortable. That's how we describe things like these mattresses. I guess you must say wafer-thick or something back in Germany? Not about these mattresses, certainly not. What do you think this yellowish poster is, Phoenix Wright? It's a scroll, not a poster. It's a picture of a woman who's actually... A woman? I don't see any woman here. There's a different atmosphere in this room since the last time I was here. No, it's not a different atmosphere. It's a different smell. It's gravy. What's the matter? This scroll. It's been completely covered in gravy. Ah, yes. There is a very appetizing smell in the air. But gravy is a type of sauce. So when you run out of paint, you Americans use gravy as a substitute, I see. No, no one does that. For starters, it stinks. It must be the gravy that we had with the roast on the night of the incident. Why would anyone do this? Why this scroll? Misty Faye's image is obscured by gravy. The scroll shows a picture of Misty Faye, master of the crane channeling technique. But why would anyone covered in gravy? I can't make out what's drawn in this scroll at all. I'll never understand you Americans and your so-called artists. Artists? Yeah. This door. When I was here 2 days ago, that weird lock wasn't on it. Those chains. It's almost as if they're guarding something inside that cavern. I've never seen a lock quite like this before. I have. I've seen locks and chains just like this before. They look just like the ones that guard a person's secret during a psyche lock. I wonder if this lock is guarding something too. Dark secrets in a dark cavern. What took you so long? I thought even you'd manage to get here faster than this, Mr. Trite. Prosecutor Godot! I didn't know you were here! Prosecutor? How come you didn't show up at the trial today? Ha! I could ask you the exact same question. Huh? But I had a cold, so I had something slightly more important than a common cold to deal with. The importance of which is something you have no hope of ever understanding. Enough. I believe I have the measure of you. You are the very worst kind of prosecutor. What could be more important than a trial? Who's the wild mare, Trite? This is Miss Von Karma. She was the acting prosecutor in your absence today. Ha! Well, I guess I owe you one then. But you can go now, princess. It's time for the big boys to take the reins.
Just who do you think you are? This case is my...
Hey, Philly. Know your role and shut your mouth. I can't stand women like you. I'm only going to say this once, Lady von Wippenberg. Go home.
Phoenix Wright! What are you hitting me for?
Ha! You deserve more cracks of the whip than that, trite. What? You still don't get it, do you? You don't realize that you've set something in motion that you'll never be able to undo. There's something different about Godot today. I'm getting such a strong sense of something from behind that mask of his. Is it anger? Or is it sorrow? You had some important business and that's why you weren't in court, huh? So what was it? I've told you once before, but perhaps you don't remember. I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. You see, trite, I've experienced something most have not. Death. You died? Of course, being extradited from hell is a tedious affair. The meticulous regeneration and adjustment of all your internal organs is, well, let's just say modern medicine allows us all to live to a ripe old age. Even someone like me. So, you mean that mask you wear is this ugly device? I promise it's not a fashion statement, my unenlightened friend. Without this, I can't see your frequently dumbfounded face. I didn't know. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. Still, I keep this worn-out piece of junk of a body going with regular servicing.
I'm sorry, but you say you experienced death. How is that possible? What happened?
Why don't you ask him?
Huh?
Me? Yeah, trite. You. You should know all about it. You know when my life ended, and who ended it for me.
Well, Phoenix Wright, do you?
I don't know what he's talking about. Although, to be honest, I do feel a little tug at the corner of my memory. I think I do know about how Godot was killed. It will all become clear in due time. Isn't that right, trite? Earlier, you said I've done something I can never undo. What did you mean by that exactly? The inner temple here on this side of Dusky Bridge is an isolated island. That's what Sister Bikini said too. And I wonder, trite, do you know what the police are doing here today? What do you mean? They're searching. Searching for any trace of an acolyte who went missing. Missing? As leader of the search party, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Maya Fey is not on this side of Dusky Bridge.
Huh? But that's impossible! She came here that night and...
I won't say it again. The chances of her being here are nil. Excluding, of course, one very unique place.
One? Where is that?
The Sacred Cavern, the entrance of which we are standing at right now. This is the only place the search party has yet to explore.
So they haven't searched that cavern yet, huh?
Be aware, though, that the temperature inside frequently falls below 0. Even if she were in there, the chances of her being found alive are slim at best.
No!
Which means, trite, that you sent Maya Fey to her death.
You fool! If that's the situation, why aren't you in there with the search party right now?
You must have blinders on, my equestrian angel. Don't you see the big lock and chains? It's a trick lock. I'm making preparations to open it as we speak. Well, Trite, once again, a woman dies because of you. Once again? What are you talking about? Don't tell me you've forgotten. It was only 2 years ago, after all, when the last unfortunate woman died because of you. Because of me? And do you know who that was? It was Mia Fey's sister. That's right, Mia Fey. Mia? You killed her. No, that's not how it was. It was 2 years ago. Mia Fey was pursuing someone. A man. But she bit off more than she could chew. She made a very dangerous enemy. Yeah, that's one case I'll never forget. But I got that guy. Personally. Sure, Miss Fey's murderer was caught. But that won't bring her back. Well, no, but... You were with her at the time. You and no one else. It was your responsibility. You should have protected her. You say Mia Fey was your teacher. Well then, I'd say you've learned nothing, Trite. You robbed her of her life. And now, you've let her sister suffer the same fate. I haven't sentenced Maya to death. No!
What is this peculiar-looking lock? Why don't we just break it open? It would be a simple matter of...
I'm afraid we can't do that. This area has always been prone to earthquakes. The repeated tremors have weakened the foundations of the training hall. Any excessive force used to break the lock open would... Well, let's just say the inner temple in the sacred cavern would be a thing of the past.
Very well. Then dare I suggest the obvious solution of opening it with the key?
Ha! Sure. Just show me where the keyhole is on this trick lock. There's no keyhole? That's right. An interesting puzzle, huh? The person who set this lock is the only one who can open it.
Then who was it?
Simple. The accused.
What? Iris?
When an acolyte undergoes training inside the sacred cavern, the attending sister is responsible for locking the entrance. Obviously, the night of the murder was no exception. Mia Fey was to train in there.
Mr. Bikini did mention it a number of times, now that I think about it. He said that Iris was left in charge of supervising the early stages of the training.
So Iris the accused is the only one who can open this lock. I've arranged for her to be brought here now.
Iris is the only one who can open this lock? I hope she gets here soon. Hang on in there, Maya. We'll get you out.
So, I should be getting back to work.
Wait, Godot! How sure about Maya are you?
There's no doubt in my mind. She's in the sacred cavern somewhere. It's the only place she could be. You'd better start praying. You'd better pray that friend of yours brings the accused back here soon.
Edgeworth?
Listen up, Trite. There's only one thing I want to say to you before I go. I'll never accept you. Never.
You should choose your friends more carefully, Phoenix Wright. It's what everyone says. Looks like I don't have much of a choice. I guess I'll just have to do whatever I can for now. I don't know. Should I or shouldn't I? Sounds like someone's talking to himself, but where's that coming from? Yeah, I guess I'd better wash that off. That's what I'll do. No, but I can't do that. I'm a detective. Ah, my brain. This is driving me nuts. Ah! Is something troubling you, Scruffy? Oh, please don't whip me like that all of a sudden, sir. It was merely a simple greeting. A friendly tap on the shoulder. With my whip. So what's up, Gumshoe? Is something on your mind? How did you know, pal? Perhaps you were trying to decide if you wanted to wash that off or not.
How did you know, sir? Oh, yeah, I nearly forgot. You can't go through that little gate there, okay?
You mean the one that says no entry on it?
I, kinda already snuck in there.
Is he trying to be clever or something? So what's behind there, Scruffy?
Huh? Kind of, garden-like garden.
A garden?
Yeah, anyway, it's under investigation right now, so keep out. I'm not telling you, I'm asking you, pal. You got me?
Isn't it normally the other way around?
Well, see you later.
So, shall we adjourn to the garden, Phoenix Wright? Of course. What else would we do? I really want to know what Gumshoe was thinking of washing off. February 9th, Inner Temple Garden. There's a strange feeling in the air. I wonder what it is. Strange feeling. Forget about that. What's that strange writing on the stone lantern?
Ah! What are you doing here, sir? I thought I said you can't come in here.
Don't you know, Scruffy? Avon Karma will always show up wherever there is a clue. And there are plenty of clues to be found here.
But...
So how's the Inner Temple investigation going?
we have the best forensic team in the world working the place.
Forensic team? And what was the outcome of this scientific study?
Nothing. Scientifically speaking, the place is as clean as a whistle.
That's simply not good enough, Scruffy. Do you think I'll let you get away with that?
Uh-oh. Well, there were a couple of things that bothered me when I first got here, sir.
That's that stone lantern in the surrounding area that's not covered in snow, correct?
They look kind of fishy to me, you know, scientifically speaking. So I got the lab boys to look them over. The results were, it's kind of hard to say, actually.
I guess I better look into them myself. About Maya.
Oh, did Mr. Godot tell you yet?
Yes, we heard.
He's got a search party out looking for her, but there's nowhere else she could have disappeared to on this side of Dusky Bridge. All we can do is wait for Mr. Edgeworth to get here, pal.
Edgeworth?
He's escorting Iris. The defendant over here.
We'll have to wait, since she is the only one who can open the door to the sacred cavern.
Oh, I think Mr. Edgeworth wants to talk to you about something too, pal.
Huh? I wonder what it is.
Just don't be expecting any good news when you talk to him. When I spoke to him, Mr. Edgeworth sounded so down, I felt like I was drowning.
Sounds pleasant. There's a charm or something poking into the snow. It looks pretty old. There's a leather cord tied to it, too.
Apparently, it belongs to the victim.
To Miss Elise Dunham?
Yeah, there's a broken leather cord around the lady's neck. The ends of the cord found on both the victim and this charm match exactly.
Sounds to me like this little trinket is going to be my ticket to getting some very big answers. Worn by Elise Dunham, found in the garden of the Inner Temple, Crane Master's talisman. A little lantern, a little statue. It is certainly a quaint little garden. Oh. What is this huge bowl here for?
Oh, I know this one. It's a watering bowl, isn't it?
Everything else is completely frozen over, but the ice in this bowl has been broken. That's true. I wonder if there's any impact, if this has any impact on the case.
Well, I doused my face earlier with the water in this. I was getting kind of sleepy.
Ah! Next time you're sleepy, you need only come to me, got it? There are a couple of torches here. I guess you need all the light you can get up here in the mountains.
Yeah, I was looking at those things, pal. Looks like they've been lit pretty recently.
Recently? How recently are we talking about?
As recent as the night of the murder.
Maya was training here on the night of the murder. It's not unreasonable to think these things were lit up at the time, I guess. Well, this is odd. There's no snow on the ground here. And it's almost perfectly rectangle. And it's almost a perfect rectangle. It couldn't have happened naturally. Yes, it appears as though someone has carefully cleared away the snow.
No doubt it was you, Scruffy. Huh? No, it wasn't me, sir. It was already like this when my men and I got here to start the investigation.
If it wasn't the police, then who did it?
Oh, yeah, there was something I need to tell you, just between the three of us, okay?
What is it?
It's top secret. You can't tell anyone, got it?
Understood.
Well, when I was a kid, I got knocked out of a local wrestling contest, you see? I was so disappointed I just picked up my mouthguard and cried all the way home. Man, I got in so much trouble when I left it on the couch.
Is that it?
That's it? Nah!
Whoever cleared the snow away must have had a reason. Although I can't even begin to imagine what that reason could be. What in the heck is this?
Uh-oh. You spotted it, huh, pal?
Are you kidding me? Couldn't be more obvious. It says Maya.
Yeah, and before you ask, it's written in blood.
You will answer all of our questions now, Scruffy, without exception.
Yes, sir.
Maya. So these letters are written in blood.
Yeah. What's worse is it's the victim's blood.
Huh? This is Miss Dunham's blood?
We haven't done a detailed analysis yet, but it's looking that way, pal.
Most interesting. Phoenix Wright, I presume you know, don't you? Why Maya's name is written upside down?
You know what? That was really bothering me too. But I just came up with the answer. The result of my own special gumshoe investigation.
Really? Do tell.
Well, on the night of the murder, the stone lantern was upside down.
Anyway, there's really only one logical explanation to this mystery. Miss Elise Dunham wrote these letters herself, in her own blood. You must be joking. That's impossible.
Well, from the writing in the victim's blood and the other clues left behind, it seems pretty likely that this garden was the scene of Miss Elise Dunham's murder. At least, that's our current theory on how the events took place, pal.
What? So Miss Elise Dunham was killed here?
However you want to look at it, that's what people are saying now.
Then, what Sister Bikini saw in the courtyard of the main temple was... Well, what was it? If that wasn't the scene of the crime, what did she see?
Nothing. What do you think, Miss Von Karma?
Surely a special gumshoe investigation would reveal the answer, no? But wait a second, the bloody writing and all the other clues here. Someone could have easily set all that up after the murder, right?
Sorry, but that's not an option, pal.
Why not? How quickly you forget, Phoenix Wright. Ever since the incident occurred, this place has been completely inaccessible. Because Dusky Bridge was completely burned out.
I was overseeing repairs to the bridge the whole time. No one came over here before me and my men. Which means no one could have planted all this stuff here, pal.
I can't think of a counter-argument to that.
I knew it. I should have washed the blood off the lantern as soon as I got here.
This really was the scene of the crime. But I need to figure out exactly what it was that Bikini actually saw. It seems you have a visitor. Mr. Wright. Iris, I'm really glad to see you. Godot managed to mobilize the police by claiming a state of emergency. Not him again. Never mind him. We've got to hurry unlock the sacred cavern. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. It's my fault someone so important to you is locked in there. Mr. Edgeworth, can we finish our conversation later? All right. Let's hurry to the inner temple, then. I'll see you later, right? Wait, Edgeworth! I'm coming with you guys. Sorry, Wright. I can't allow you to come with us. What? I hate to be the one to break it to you, but Maya Fey is in a rather delicate position. What do you mean by a delicate position? This isn't simply a rescue operation, Wright. It's also an investigation. That being the case, we cannot allow members of the public to interfere. Come on, Edgeworth. If anything happens, you'll be the first to know. Please understand, Wright? But it's Maya, Mr. Wright. All that matters is that Mystic Maya is rescued, correct? Listen to the voice of reason for a change, Phoenix Wright. From now on, consider anything beyond Dusky Bridge to be off limits. We'll be going now. Excuse us. This is no time to be standing around, Phoenix Wright. Aren't there other things that demand your attention? She's right. Thanks for reminding me. Sister Bikini looks like she's shrunk some since I last saw her. Don't be so rude, Phoenix Wright. What's wrong, Sister Bikini? My, hello you two! How are you doing? From the sound of that sigh, I guess she's still pretty down. Iris was just here, you know. She was accompanied by that handsome crimson-clad prince. Is she talking about Edgeworth? It was just a courtesy call. I wasn't allowed to talk with her at all. Oh dear, it's all my fault that this has happened. I need to check something real quick. Oh, hang on. Poor Iris, she was worried about my back, would you believe? What have I done to her? Only what you had to do, sister. You bravely and truthfully testified about what you saw. There's no shame in that. And we'll see to it that your testimony wasn't made in vain. Well, I don't hear anyone else saying that! Mr. Blue Suits doesn't seem to share your opinion, I see. Huh? Me? Oh, yes! You did great, Sister Bikini. Absolutely spectacular! You two are the only ones who said that to me! I can't shake the feeling that I just became a shill to a shrew. Do you have a problem, Phoenix Wright? Sure, she was brave to testify so truthfully like that. But I know she's still hiding something. Guess it's time to break those psyche locks of hers. Jesus Christ. Elise Dunham. Mr. Bikini, the truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. I'm convinced that Miss Elise Dunham had a special significance to this temple. As to why she had a special significance, I believe it has to do with her true identity. What on earth are you talking about? She was... Mystic Elise was an author, just an author of picture books. To be honest, I had my suspicions almost immediately after I met her. Suspicions? Yes, but I didn't have any evidence to support my theory, though. But now I do. This piece of evidence proves Miss Dunham's true identity. Miss Dunham had this charm with her at all times. Where did you get that? This isn't some cheap good luck charm, is it? Either. Then what do you think it is, Mr. Wright? What could a talisman like that possibly mean? It's a talisman, is it? Interesting. Oops! This thing speaks volumes about who Miss Elise Dunham really was. This talisman and one other item unequivocally proves Miss Dunham's true identity. Is it still visible? Yes, it is. The painting is obscured by this gravy stain at the moment. But this scroll shows the master of the Korean channeling technique. The crest at the top is the sign of that honorable title. The very same crest that adorns the talisman the victim carried with her. This crest is reserved for the master of Korean.
Who on earth told you that nonsense? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The new master, Maya Fey, told me.
What? You mean that acolyte is Misty Fey's
Daughter? Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. In fact, since her eldest daughter passed away, Maya is Misty Fey's sole successor.
Mystic Misty! Mystic Elise graced us with her presence about a week ago. When she showed me the talisman with that mark on it, well, I nearly fainted. No one had seen her since she disappeared 17 years ago, after all.
What is the significance of this talisman, sister?
The Korean talisman. It's the symbol of the Master of Korean. The bearer must carry it with them, always, until their death.
Until their death? So Elise Dunham was really Maya's mother, huh?
She was Misty Fey, the master of the Korean channeling technique.
The truth comes out at last. Looks like we're making some headway here.
Tell me, sister. After 17 years, why did she choose to show herself now? Because something happened that called her out of hiding.
What happened?
Well,
what's happening? It can't be.
Earthquake!
Ah!
Oh my goodness, the inner temple! This kind of tremor might...
The inner temple?
The sacred cavern in the training hall, it might very well cave in!
What? Maya! Oops. It seems to have passed. Well, we can't just stand here and do nothing. Let's go! What? Where? To the inner temple, of course. Where else? Sister Bikini, we'll finish this later, alright?
Of course. You run along now. People may have been hurt. I must get some first aid kits right away.
Come on then, Phoenix Wright. They won't bar you from entering as long as I'm with you. Thank you. Right at that moment, I had the worst feeling in my gut. We just had an earthquake. I wonder if he's alright. You look worried. Are you thinking about Miles Edgeworth? Come on, let's go. We've got to hurry to the inner temple and... Right! Ah! What are you doing here? Ugh. How could I have... How do you expect us to understand if you don't speak it? Speak up. Ow! Hey, why am I the one getting whipped? He's gone. No. The defendant, Iris. She's gone. Gone where? She fled. She escaped. What? So it was just now during the... It's easy to see Edgeworth's one and only weakness. His fear of earthquakes. I should have known better than to escort the defendant alone. As soon as the ground started shaking, everything went dark before my eyes, and I stupidly passed out. That incident haunts you to this day, doesn't it? No excuse for letting the suspect get away. I can't believe I let it happen. Right, the inner temple area is a dead end, so she could have only escaped to this side. We haven't seen her. Then we need to get a manhunt underway now and search Eagle Mountain from top to bottom. Wait, Edgeworth. Have you thoroughly checked the inner temple yet? Don't be ridiculous. Why would I? The inner temple is like an island. There's no way to escape but to cross. No, that's not it. Iris isn't the type of person to run away, Edgeworth. What are you talking about? Sister Bikini mentioned something when we were with her. She said that the sacred cavern might have caved in because of the quake.
Then you think Iris might have gone to the inner temple to check on the situation?
Listen, Edgeworth. I'm sure she's at the inner temple. A manhunt is not necessary. Right. Let's not waste any more time. We need to get to the training hall's sacred cavern now. Alright, let's go. Fortunately, the sacred cavern hadn't caved in. But what we found was something none of us could have ever expected. How can there be even more locks? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Iris! Iris, please tell me. What the hell is going on? Save your progress. Boom. Part 2 of the investigation. Right. Is this what Godot was talking about? Yeah. The trick locks. Now then, Iris, please remove these at once.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm afraid I can't. It's not possible for me.
What? During the earthquake, when the cavern was in danger of caving in, Iris escaped. And I know that there was only one lock when I last came here.
So you're saying that you cannot undo the new locks? Yes.
If only I were stronger! Edgeworth, how are you feeling? You look a little pale in the face. Like you're one to talk with your face all green.
Miles Edgeworth, go and get some air. I'll watch over the suspect. You go and get a grip on yourself.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm perfectly fine.
There's no telling what sort of mistakes you could make in your current state.
Go and get some rest.
That's your only concern now, Miles Edgeworth.
Understood. I'll handle the investigation in the garden. You take care of things here. Edgeworth. He's got so much pride that he's probably off crying in a corner of the garden.
Pride is simply another trap that hinder us in our lives. That said, one must have pride to be effective on their job. At any rate, it seems that this is where we part ways, Phoenix Wright. I'm going to stay here and see if I can't help solve these bothersome puzzles.
I see. Well, thanks for your help. Now then, do you mind if I ask you a few things, Iris?
No, not at all.
Why did you make a run for it, Iris?
I'm sorry. I heard the inner temple had been severely shaken by the strong earthquake we had. I was so worried, I just had to come and see. In other words, you didn't run away to escape the law. At least we're clear on that. I can't tell you how relieved I was when I saw the sacred cavern was all right, but what? Then I saw these chains here. I saw all these extra locks that someone had put on the sacred cavern's door, and... Who in the world would do something like this? These trick locks are a sacred treasure of the Crane tradition. There are hundreds of ways to set them. That's why only the person who set the lock can open it. And you aren't the one who set these locks.
I don't think it's that simple, Franziska von Karma. When we were here the first time, there was only one lock. But now, somehow, there's 5 of them.
What does that mean?
It means that someone wanted to secure the place even more. And they wanted to secure it before you got here, Iris. presumably because they wanted to make sure Maya couldn't get out. This means that Iris can only open one of these locks, the first one.
Yes, that's correct. What?
Iris, try to think, please. Isn't there any way around this?
Well, like I said, there are hundreds of different ways to set these locks. I suppose if I went through every combination with each one, I could remove them. But it will take time, won't it? Yes, about a day if I had to guess.
A whole day?
Well, that's better than leaving the locks in place. Will you do this for us? Sure, I'll do whatever I can.
I've got to wait another day? Hang in there, Maya. You're going to have to call on your inner strength now. You know what, Iris? There's still one thing I don't quite get.
And what might that be, Phoenix Wright?
I think it's obvious. Iris, on the night of the murder, where were you? Please, Iris, don't give me that look. You told us that you were in your room at Hazakura Temple at the time of the incident, but you were seen that same evening at the Inner Temple, and then you were spotted at the scene of the crime in Hazakura Temple too.
Being spotted at both Hazakura Temple and the Inner Temple. It's as if you were...
Well, Iris, I think it's about time you told us the truth. I knew it. There's something going on here that we don't know about. Ow! I'm finally getting to the bottom of this case. I can count on Iris to break those locks, so I should try to gather more clues. From Sister Bikini, Edgeworth, Gumshoe, and Pearls. The cops are still combing the place. They look pretty nervous. I'd be nervous too. It's gotta be a tough job. Especially with someone giving you the evil eye the whole time. How could I have done that? Wow, can't believe it's still bothering him. Edgeworth? Hey, don't you dare run away. What do you want, Wright? What do I want? If you came here to laugh at me, then get on with it. Go on, laugh away. I was ready to hug it out with him, but he's just the same prideful Edgeworth. You went back to the Criminal Affairs Department, right? You said you wanted to look into something concerning Iris. Yes. And thanks to what I found, I was reminded of something terrible. You guys are putting a lot of effort into the investigation of the garden here, huh? There's a high chance this is the actual scene of the crime, that's why. You mean because of the writing in blood, and the talisman in the snow? Exactly. As you know, those things couldn't have been planted here after the murder. But surely you don't suspect Maya, do you? We have to treat everyone as a suspect. Maya as well as Iris. It's our job, right? So, I guess you still haven't gotten over your fear of earthquakes. No. Though thankfully, my nightmares have stopped. But still, if the ground gives even the slightest tremor, I find myself short of breath. 17 years ago, when we were still little school kids at the same elementary school, Edgeworth found himself in the middle of a murder. It all started with that big quake that hit the courthouse. Yes, I was stuck in the elevator with my father, who was a defense attorney. We were deprived of oxygen and we passed out. That's when it happened. That single gunshot shattered my whole world. I lost everything that day, all because of that earthquake. My dreams, my family, and myself. It's been more than 17 years now. And that case was finally resolved 2 years ago, right? You think I don't know that? I was there! But it was such a shock, I never imagined I could be so wrong about myself and my life. I'm sorry, Wright? There's nothing else I can say. Not after you chose to become a lawyer for my sake, and not after you saved me. Edgeworth, you're stronger than you think, so no more of this self-pity, okay? There was something that bothered me about her from the moment we met. I felt like I'd seen her somewhere before. No, wait. Not somewhere. Felt like I'd seen her in court before. So you went back to the Criminal Affairs Department to look at her file? Yes, I checked over every case file I've ever worked on. And I was right. I'd seen her face before, 6 years ago. 6 years ago? It was my first appearance in court. And as cases go, it was my worst nightmare. So, who is she? I'm sorry, Wright. I can't give that information away to a member of the general public. What? Why not? It might be a crucial piece of the puzzle that solves this case. The woman I knew was the daughter of a jewelry store owner. She had nothing to do with Iris and Hazakura Temple. And neither did the case. No, that woman is completely unrelated to this murder. Unrelated? Yes, I can say that with complete confidence. You're wrong, Edgeworth. She's totally related to this case. I need to fill Edgeworth in. I need to explain the connection between Iris and the woman Edgeworth knew. Do I even have anything like that? Apparently, Iris was taken in by the sisters here at the temple when she was a child. However, she still doesn't know much about her past, so we're looking into it. That reminds me. Edgeworth went back to the Criminal Affairs Department to look up stuff on her. I should ask him what he's found. Already asked her that, it's just that I don't have anything. It's weird that there's no one around all of a sudden. Sure gets quiet up here in the mountains when you're all on your own. Speaking of alone, I guess I should check out the shack just down this path. Maybe I'll find Larry there sulking again.
Oh, Mr. Nick!
Pearls! What are you doing here?
Nothing. What about Miss Sigmaya? Is she alright?
Well, we don't know yet.
Oh, I see.
Hey, what do you think you're doing here, Nick?
Larry.
This is the loser's shack, where losers get together to lose themselves.
This is the what?
Hey, we find comfort in each other's failures, okay? You got a problem with that?
Look, Mr. Nick. Mr. Loris did a picture of me.
That's, great, Pearls.
We're gonna gather firewood now. We'll be cooking some half-rotten potatoes over a miserable little campfire. So stay out of our way.
I don't believe this. Why can't he try getting fired up over becoming a better man?
No one believes a word I say anymore. Listen to me, Pearl. You don't ever trust this. You don't ever want to trust this kind of guy, okay? I'll only let you down.
Oh, Mystic Maya.
Larry, is there something you want to tell me about this picture?
I've got nothing to say to you, Nick. My life's here now with Pearl. Two losers cooking potatoes here together forevermore.
What am I gonna do with him? Alright then. What do you think about this picture, Pearls?
I think it's really well drawn. I can't draw at all, so I think it's really amazing.
See, someone appreciates it. Stop getting the flames to look like that, you know.
supposed to be Sister Iris flying through the air, isn't it? I love it. It's like a dream, a wonderful fantasy.
No, 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 it wasn't a dream. She really flew. I'm telling you, Iris really flew that night.
But Mr. Maurice,
Not you too. Please don't look at me like that, Pearl. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of nutcase, I beg of you.
I guess this picture really is a representation of what Larry thinks he saw.
Okay, so I was half asleep when I was here that night. But I was wide awake after the lightning struck. And I saw what I saw. It was exactly like I drew in the picture.
And it looks like I don't have any choice but to take the sketch at face value.
Hey, what's with that look of doubt on your face?
Pearls.
yes, Mr. Nick?
I've been meaning to ask you about the night of the murder. Where were you? And what exactly were you doing when it all happened?
I was just, well, I'm just a kid, you know? I'm sure it doesn't really matter what I was doing, does it, Mr. Nick?
Sorry, Pearls. But yes, it does. On the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Miss Dunham's room reading a book together. But Miss Dunham was murdered, and you, Pearls, were at the inner temple. Just what exactly happened that night, Pearls?
I'm really sorry, Mr. Nick.
Jesus Christ!
I've been a bad girl. That's why I'm being punished.
What are you talking about, Pearls?
My spiritual power, it has disappeared.
What? Her powers have disappeared? What do you mean your powers have disappeared, Pearls?
It's all over for me. A spirit medium who can't channel spirits is like a painter who can't paint.
Hey, what are you looking at me for?
Pearls, did you try to channel someone's spirit right here at Hazakura Temple? Tried but failed, perhaps?
Way to go, Nick! You made her cry! That was really cruel of you.
Just as I thought. I'm gonna have to break her psyche locks to get the truth out of her. And I don't have any... Well, I might not. I wonder if Sister Bikini is back in the main hall yet. I haven't seen Gumshoe around for a while either. Maybe they're having a cup of tea together somewhere. I bet Gumshoe is Sister Bikini's type. She's shaken.
Well, what's the damages? How's the sacred cavern?
It looks like it survived. But we have a bigger problem now. I told Sister Bikini all about it. About the 5 locks that were stopping us from getting inside the sacred cavern.
But who could have done that? The only person who knows how to set those trick locks are those of the Korean tradition.
We have Iris at the sacred cavern trying her best to open them for us right now. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to talk with you about, Sister Bikini.
Oh, yes. We were in the middle of a chat, weren't we?
Yes, you were telling me how the Master of Kurain disappeared 17 years ago. I want to know why Misty Faye suddenly appeared at this temple.
It was about a week ago when Mystic Elise... No, I mean Mystic Misty arrived. After she showed me the talisman that proved she was the Master, she said... Someone is trying to destroy the Kurain tradition's main family line. Someone's trying to destroy the tradition's main family line! I was here to put a stop to them!
Someone was trying to destroy the main family line?
There's only one heir to the title of Master at any time, and it's usually the eldest. That child becomes the new Master of Kurain, and her daughter's the main family. All other mediums become branch family members with no hope of controlling the clan. That's why nothing has changed throughout the history of the clan. Branch families always have and always will plot to erase those of the main family line.
Is the power of the Master worth this much bloodshed?
You believe in the technique, don't you, Mr. Wright? You know its power is real.
Yes, I do. It's been 2 years since I first met Maya. In that time, I've seen her channel the spirits of the dead plenty of times. During the Mass-to-Mass case. And during Maggie Bird's trial, too. Thanks to Maya, Mia's always on hand to help me out when I need her the most.
The Crane technique has made a huge difference to the world, you know. I mean, the ability to commune with the dead. That's true psychic power, you know. Members of the tradition have always been there, behind every important leader. Who wouldn't respect such a tremendous skill?
I suppose so, but with all that power and influence, I kind of expected you'd be really rich by now.
Are you saying we're poor, Mr. Wright? Ho, ho, ho. You're very direct, aren't you? People don't believe in it anymore, you see. All because of one little mistake.
A mistake? What mistake?
It was 17 years ago. That's when everything came crashing down. All because of that incident.
That incident? She talking about what I think she is?
I'm sure the records still exist if you're interested. Locked up, of course. It was called the DL6 incident. That's the name of the file.
The DL6 incident. I knew it. The DL6 incident. I know it well. I handled a related case just 2 years ago.
Ah, that's right. So it was you who was the defense attorney on that case.
A murder that took place 17 years ago.
It was the first time in the country's history the police ever used a spirit medium. The idea was to channel the victim's spirit to learn the identity of the murderer.
And the medium who performed the channeling was Misty Fey, Maya's mother.
Through Mystic Misty's channeling, the name of a certain man surfaced. Armed with that as evidence, the investigators were spurred into action.
But that man, he was found not guilty, wasn't he?
That's right. He was. And the case remained a mystery. In other words, we failed. It was the first time the world had ever seen the Crane tradition openly involved in. It was all over the media, the public, the judiciary, the people of Crane Village. Everyone judged her. Everyone said Mystic Misty's powers were a sham. And then she just disappeared, vanished, while everyone still thought of her as a fraud.
But I know the truth. Misty Fey's spirit channeling wasn't a sham at all.
Of course it wasn't. And since you managed to reveal the truth, we're finally making a comeback. The Crane tradition is starting to recover at last. But with a new master wielding the power of the clan.
Does she mean Maya?
The spiritual power of the Crane channeling technique is in the blood.
Maya told me the exact same thing before.
We, the women of the Fey clan, have always been spirit mediums. It's because the power to communicate with spirits flows strongly through us.
According to Maya, only the women in the family can inherit that power.
The main family's bloodline stems directly from Mystic Amy. But with each new generation, only one daughter becomes the new master.
And the ones who don't become branch families, right?
That's right, and it's always the cause of tragedy.
You know, Maya had a sister too. An older sister named Mia.
Oh yes, I've heard of her.
What? You know about Mia?
Of course. She became a lawyer in the hopes of discovering what happened to her mother.
And lost her life as a result.
Do you know what Mystic Mia is rumored to have said? She said it wasn't only because of her mother that she became a lawyer. She also didn't want to fight with her sister over the leadership of the tradition.
Really?
Well, she saw what happened to her own mother, Mystic Misty, as she grew up. I guess Mystic Mia got tired of seeing all the rivalry between her mom and her aunt.
That's right. Misty Fey had an elder sister too. And Misty, having superior powers, managed to usurp the master's seat from her. Mystic Misty's sister is Mystic Morgan, as you probably know. Morgan. There's a name I know well. It was a year ago now, at Maya's home, Kurain Village. What she did was terrible. It was also she could make her own daughter the next master.
I suppose if you know about Mystic Morgan's daughter, then you must have already realized that Iris...
Iris? What's Iris got to do with any of this?
That Iris is Mystic Morgan's daughter.
Iris is what? Is she kidding me? Iris is Morgan Fay's daughter? Did you just say that Iris is Morgan Fay's daughter?
Oops! I thought you already knew that. It sounded like you'd met one of Mystic Morgan's daughters already.
I have. I know her very well.
Oh?
Yes, Pearl Fay. But I always thought she was an only child.
You just, that child, she's Mystic Morgan? I had no idea. Mystic Morgan. She's in prison now, isn't she?
Yes, ever since she was found to be a co-conspirator in a murder case last year. It was all done to set Pearls up as the next master.
I see. I've been wrong all this time. Mystic Morgan had 3 daughters, not 2.
Wait, what? 3?
Yes, Iris, her twin sister, and Mystic Pearl.
What? Twin sister?
Oh, didn't you know? It all happened 20 years ago. After the clan leadership was taken from her by her sister, Mystic Morgan's life crumbled. It wasn't many years later that Kurain's reputation hit an all-time low. When Mystic Morgan's husband realized his wife would never become the master, he left her in the village, taking their twin daughters with him.
How awful.
He was a jeweler, you know. In the end, he remarried, and that's when it happened. He decided to give one of his girls up, to be looked after by us here at the temple. That was Iris, you see.
It's unbelievable. If Iris has a twin sister, could it be... could you tell me one more thing, Sister Bikini? What was the name of Iris's sister?
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I just can't remember. All I can recall is that her father was a jeweler.
Well, that's a clue, I guess. A jeweler. Thank you very much. You've helped clear up a lot of details. Pearls had 2 older sisters, huh?
Yes, that's right. No doubt it was all because of Mystic Morgan's anger towards the main family.
Anger? What do you mean?
Her twin daughters were taken from her by her jeweler husband. But even that couldn't destroy her dream that a child of hers would one day lead the clan.
That's why she had pearls.
It seems that the incident here was a result of Mystic Morgan's anger. It was able to break free of the bars that confine her.
So Iris had a twin sister. The plot thickens. But this information will be useless unless I can flesh it out a bit. I need to ask more questions and get some more info. Sounds like someone's happy. What tune is that they're humming? No motive, no crime. No motive, no crime. Sing it with me. No motive, no crime. I remember when we used to search in the channeling room in Kurain. Whoop, I love my job. Who cares if the clues I find are no good? That's not what investigating is all about. The investigator investigates for the love of investigating. It's a passion. Good cases we have, good cases we've lost along the way. Would have never guessed that Gumshoe was into reggae. Every case is gonna be airtight. Every case is gonna be airtight. Hey, pal. Huh?
Who, me? How long have you been there?
I just got here.
Oh, okay.
So what are you up to, detective?
I'm investigating, pal. I made a promise to Mr. Edgeworth. I promised I would find the real murder weapon.
The real murder weapon.
That barbed sword thing turned out to be a false lead, right? I'm giving him my best shot here, but I still haven't turned up any clues. I just found these weird scraps of paper. It looks like a letter or something. Doesn't seem to have anything to do with the case, though.
A letter? So, how's the investigation going, Detective Gumshoe?
I don't know if I should be telling you, pal, but I guess it can't hurt. Looks like the murder took place in the Inner Temple Garden. And they're taking that bloody writing on the lantern pretty seriously back at HQ.
What? You mean...
I don't have the details, pal. All I know is that if you don't find Maya down in that secret cavern, we're gonna be faced with one ugly situation.
What kind of ugly situation are we looking at here?
You got me. I don't know. They're not my words, pal.
Then who said it?
Mr. Godot.
Godot. What did he mean by that? What about that letter you found?
Don't remind me, pal. I'm busting a gut here trying to find the murder weapon. And all I find is some burnt-up old letter.
Burnt-up old letter?
Yeah, it was in the incinerator right inside the Inner Temple.
The incinerator? I knew it. I knew I wasn't imagining it. There was snow on the incinerator when I first saw it. But after the incident, the snow had melted away. Which means someone used the incinerator on the night of the murder.
What's up with you, pal? I've got it right here if you want to take a look.
Can I? Do you mind?
Sure, go nuts. I don't want it, pal. You can have it. It's all spirit mediums and masters and stuff. I bet it's got no relation to the case.
Spirit mediums? Found by Gumshoe in the Inner Temple's incinerator. It's gotta be important if it mentions spirit mediums and masters. I'd better give it a good look over and some serious thought.
Make sure you chuck it in the trash when you're done. Littering's a crime, pal.
Be careful. Once night falls, should be there. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Her name is, she is our, the whole, here's a picture of her. Use it. When you channel her, I know you can do it. Once this is burn also tell anyone about this letter. Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. What do you know about the real murder weapon so far?
Well, it wasn't the Shichishito that was found impaled in the victim's body. Mr. Edgeworth proved that in court today.
Yes, that's true.
In which case, it must have been another blade.
And that's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for now, huh?
Yeah, and man, is it tiring work. But let me tell you something, pal. I'm no chicken. I've got the feathers of forensics in our cape these days. We've got the feather of forensics in our cap these days. We're using the department's secret weapon on this.
Secret weapon? What's this secret weapon of yours?
You want to know? You've got to think scientifically, okay?
Alright.
The murder weapon was a sword. Swords are, scientifically speaking, made of metal, right? Any questions so far?
No. I know what he's gonna say, but I'll let him look smart.
So what's the perfect tool for the job? Ta-da! A metal detector!
Raise your hand if you didn't see this coming from a mile away.
Well, you want to give a scientific investigation a go?
Huh? Me?
I've been using this thing for hours now. Getting pretty boring after a while. Why don't you give it a try?
I don't know. Should I help Detective Gumshoe out or not?
Come on, pal. It's good fun, I'm telling you.
Alright then. I guess I'll give it a go.
Like I said, this is the department's most advanced gadget. The absolute best. It's so sensitive, you can make it cry. It's so high-tech, you can skydive off it.
Oh, bother.
So, now I'm going to tell you how to use it. It's possible the real murder weapon is around here somewhere, right?
Sure, that's what we're trying to find out. Find out.
Right, so first, let's turn the detector on. That's the sound of the metal detector's signal bouncing off something metallic. Don't worry, this baby will let you know when you've hit something metallic. When that happens, press enter to give the area a good hard yeah. Thing picks up metal, take a good look at anything. Okay, pal? Look, a ladder!
That's a step ladder.
What's the difference? Looks like a normal ladder to me, pal.
Surely everyone knows the difference. I mean, they're pretty ordinary objects.
I've met plenty of guys like you, always picking on the smallest details. The vegetable store guy near my place does it all the time. He even corrects me when I ask for a head of lettuce. That's cabbage, he says. I'm telling you, they're the same exact thing.
No, they're not! They're completely different!
You have to plant both of them firmly in the ground before you can grow, don't you? Listen, you gotta take a step back and look at the bigger picture sometimes. Otherwise, you can miss a really important clue. That's advice from a pro, pal.
Last person I need advice from is this guy in front of me.
Yeah, ladders versus step ladders.
Just a pair of skis. Nothing useful for our case here.
Actually pretty good at skis, you know, pal. I just love to fly down the slopes with my coat fluttering in the wind.
Really? I had no idea. How good are you then?
Well, I'm better on skis than I am on skates, but not as good as when I'm on a snowboard.
Pretty detailed answer.
Oh, but you know what I'm best at? Making mashed potatoes and gravy.
Guy's losing it. Must be the altitude. Better get back to the investigation.
That Shichishito next to the gold statue wasn't the real murder weapon, pal.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd check it again anyway.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Do you know about that sword? It's supposed to represent the multiple branches that life can take, all ending as one.
Yes, I heard something about that.
You know what I think about sometimes? What kind of life I'd be leading had I not joined the homicide division.
You think about that kind of stuff, Detective?
Of course I do. Think about it a lot. Me as a traffic cop, me as a detention officer, me as the Blue Badger.
There's something to be said about the humor value of Gumshoe as the Blue Badger. This is Miss Dunham's staff, isn't it?
Scientifically speaking, they're usually made of wood.
But the detector is reacting to it.
Yeah, but however you look at it, the thing's made of wood, alright? I don't bother investigating anything unless it looks like it might be metallic.
Isn't the whole point of a metal detector to find metal where you can't see it?
It's weird that this thing is causing a racket.
Here, let me take a look at it.
Hey, hands off! Examining evidence is the job for the...
The top is coming off.
Look what you've done! You've damaged a really important piece of evidence.
Ah!
That's, a sword inside the staff?
Could it be
the murder weapon?
I'd never have guessed there'd be a sword concealed in the victim's staff.
They call this kind of thing a sword cane, pal. This one's a real gem. The workmanship is really something else. Thank goodness it wasn't a cane sword. Or else the victim would have stabbed her own foot.
I officially give up on trying to figure out how Gumshoe's mind works. The real scene of the crime was the inner temple garden. Then why was the sword used to kill the victim found in the main hall courtyard? Hey, Gumshoe. Who knows about the hidden sword?
No one. Even the police didn't know about this until I discovered it just now.
Well, as they say, there's no team in Gumshoe. Doesn't look like there are any traces of blood on it.
Then I guess this isn't the murder weapon, huh?
No. I'm sure someone just wiped it off after the murder.
Yeah, of course. This thing's definitely the murder weapon. Great job, pal.
It's about the same length as the Shichishito, too. This must be the murder weapon.
Okay, I'm gonna run over to forensics. There's gotta be some traces of blood left, even if most of it has been wiped off. See you later, pal. Every case is gonna be airtight. Every case is gonna be airtight.
Wait up, detective.
Huh? What is it, pal? I'm a pretty busy guy right now, you know.
You're gonna get that stuff analyzed, right? Would you mind holding off just for a while?
Huh? What are you talking about, pal?
Please. Just until we find Maya.
Maya? What's this got to do with her?
I don't know, but I'm starting to get a real bad feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Oh, how so?
Look, Maya's trapped inside the secret cavern right now, and, well, we don't even know if she's okay or not. The more evidence and testimony I hear, the more uneasy I feel.
You don't think...
Maya's been Please, detective, let's just wait until we can get inside the sacred cavern.
You're looking kind of Iridian there. Okay. Just stop it with that face, pal. One thing, though. This staff's secret trick. Let's keep it between you and me, alright? If it gets out that we know about it and didn't say anything, we're finished.
I understand.
This is just a regular run-of-the-mill staff. You got it? Okay, now you take good care of it, pal.
Thank you, detective.
Don't worry. She'll be fine.
Gumshoe.
You know, there's a place at the base of this mountain that has some real good pasta. How about I take you there when we find Maya, huh, pal?
Sure. Thanks. Has a sword hidden inside. No one knows this except me and Detective Gumshoe. I can't help but wonder, though. What was Elise Dunham doing with a staff like this in the first place? Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know that Iris had a twin sister? What? A twin? You can't be serious. Sister Bikini told me, but the problem is she didn't know the name of this twin. There was nothing about Iris having a twin sister in the files I checked. Well, Iris was taken in by the temple when she was really young. Apparently her sister was raised by her father. A jeweler, I think. A jeweler? Right, I must know who this I might know who this twin sisters of hers is. I had a feeling you'd say that. Let me guess. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, right? Yes, exactly. Please tell me what you know about her, Edgeworth. Please. It was my first court case, 6 years ago. I was a greenhorn, and due to my inexperience, the defendant died. You're talking about Terry Falls, right? You know about that case? You're not the only one who noticed something about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne. I checked one of Mia's old files from 6 years ago. Yes, Dahlia was a key witness in that case. Dahlia and Terry Falls conspired together to stage a fake kidnapping 11 years ago. They stole a jewel worth $2 million from Dahlia's father, a jeweler. And 5 years after that, she murdered her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne, to keep her from talking. Her sister? Well, her stepsister, actually. They weren't blood-related. Valerie was the only daughter of Dahlia's father's second wife. Oh, and this is when she entered my life. And the woman who tried to kill me. So after Terry Falls died, what happened to Dahlia? Did you check that out? Does it really matter? Like I said, Dahlia isn't connected with this case. Why are you so sure about that? It's simple. Dahlia Hawthorne is dead. What? Well, her metabolic processes are a matter of interest only to historians, so to speak. What do you mean by Dahlia Hawthorne is dead, Edgeworth? Right. I must confess that in reading her file, I came to know of the murder case you were involved in during your college years. Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, thanks to the persistence of Mia Fey. At the time, Dahlia. It's like she was possessed by a demon or something. It's been almost 5 years since that guilty verdict was handed down, and her sentence was finally carried out. She was executed last month. Executed? I'm sure that's a bit of a shock for you, right? For more reasons than one. But do you understand now? She can't possibly be connected with this case. He's dead, and once someone is dead, there's no way to revive them. There's no way to revive the dead. I wonder. Seems you're not aware of one other connection yet, Edgeworth. And what is that? It's about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne's mother. What's their mother got to do with any of this? She's Morgan Fey, a spirit medium from a branch family of the Kurain channeling technique. Did you say Kurain channeling technique? Do you know something about it? Oh, yes! I know it's connected with that fraudulent spirit medium. Fraudulent. I was involved in another nightmare 17 years ago. I was caught up in the middle of a murder investigation. The police didn't have any leads. They were stumped, and that's when they called her in. She was a very famous spirit medium and the master of her channeling school. But you know what happened? As a result of her efforts, an innocent man was accused of murder. She and her powers, they were all fraudulent. Edgeworth. Go to the police records room. It's all in there. All you have to do is check the DL6 incident case file and you'll know. Of course. How could I forget? Edgeworth was the victim in that case. Edgeworth. You'll understand someday. And then you'll see that the Kurain channeling technique is real. Will it let me go to... It will not. Okay. Do we break Pearl or Iris first? Let's try Iris. She has less... She has less locks, but I feel like her locks are probably harder. I know what you are. Night of the crime. I think it's time you told the truth about what you were doing on that night. You said you were in your room at Hazakura Temple the entire time. Do you still claim that to be the truth?
Yes, that's where I was.
Iris, I believe you're innocent. Hang on real quick. That's why I want to believe what you're telling me too. But I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else on the night of the murder. I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course. Sister Bikini. Her testimony in court today was very clear. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently.
So I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to the Hazakura Temple.
Sister Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night. So you see, Iris, you were there at the Inner Temple on the night of the murder.
That's very impressive, Mr. Wright. The Acolyte's actual training was due to start after 10 o'clock that night. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late.
What time was that?
Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the Inner Temple, so I would have left at about 9:40 p.m., I think.
I'm sorry, Iris, but lying just doesn't suit you.
Huh?
Now you're saying you left the main hall at 9:40, but what you say doesn't add up with this. You yourself testified to the contrary. Don't you remember? You said you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock that night.
Ah!
Plus, only moments before you rang that bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have.
Who's that?
Me.
Mr. Wright.
We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten.
No, that's right. I remember.
And that brings us to another puzzling fact, Iris. At 10 o'clock on the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. It's time you told me exactly what's been going on, Iris. So far, I've managed to prove 2 things. First, on the night of the incident, you were at the Inner Temple. And second, at the exact same time you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this apparent impossibility. On the night of the incident, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. Which means there must have been 2 of you. I can't think of any other explanation, Iris.
But that's crazy! How could that be? There's only one of me. It's impossible!
Impossible, I wonder. The way you're trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise.
You're seriously trying to suggest there's more than one of me? Then show me the evidence. Show me something that proves there's more than one of me.
Yeah. I have a firm grasp of the situation now, Iris. You have a sister, don't you? A twin sister, perhaps? That's right. Dahlia Hawthorne. A woman I know only too well.
I had no idea you knew of her. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. But she's no longer...
Yes, I know. Her sentence was carried out recently, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
There's no need to explain now, is there, Iris? This second you who was here at the temple on the night of the murder. It was your twin sister, Dahlia Hawthorne.
But you just said it yourself a second ago. My sister's dead. Have you forgotten that?
Have you forgotten this, Iris? This is the channeling dojo, a training ground of the Korean channeling technique. That night, someone channeled Dahlia's spirit, and you knew about it. And that's the secret you've been trying to hide from me.
I was in my room in the main hall that night. As soon as I heard that I'd been spotted at the Inner Temple, I knew it was my sister. Dahlia, the other half of me who passed away last month.
Just as I suspected. The Iris that Sister Bikini saw at the Inner Temple on the night of the murder. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Why didn't you tell me this before?
Because my sister always does the right thing.
Excuse me?
And because I mustn't get in the way of what she's trying to do. I already betrayed her once before. I can't do it again.
You betrayed her? What do you mean?
That's when I have to accept I may be found guilty. It's the only way.
What is she talking about?
You know about it, don't you, Mr. Wright? About the fake kidnapping that took place here on Eagle Mountain 11 years ago? That was the start of it all. That's what started her down that twisted path. She started to commit crime after crime, and in the end, she lost her life. It's all because I betrayed her.
How did you betray her, Iris?
It was no coincidence that Eagle Mountain is where the exchange was to take place. After all, I helped plan the whole thing.
What?
I got scared, so I ran away.
What are you talking about? Why would you help her? Stealing $2 million from your own father? That's awful.
But I promised. I promised that I'd help. And she didn't do it for the money.
Huh?
It was revenge on our father.
Revenge? What do you mean by revenge?
He was a hideous man. He threw our mother away and then sent her to hell.
Her mother. She must be talking about Morgan Fay.
Our mother was the eldest daughter of the main branch of the Fay family. The Main family had a lot of influence in many businesses and political circles at the time. As the eldest daughter, our mother was set to inherit all of that as the next master. That's the reason our father married our mother in the first place. For power. But his plan backfired, because our mother's sister took it all from her. She took over as the Master of Khura'in.
That would be Misty Fay, Maya's mother.
But before long, the credibility of the Khura'in tradition hit rock bottom. The new master, Misty Fay, made a terrible mistake. It was during the investigation of the DL6 incident. After that happened, our father took me and my twin sister away, leaving our mother and our home behind. He hated the place. He said it was a hick dive, and that he had no reason to stay there.
And that's when you came here to Hazakura Temple?
Yes. The woman my father took as his next wife already had a daughter, Valerie. I had no place in his new family, you see.
Oh.
And I haven't seen my mother once since then. Having the master's seat stolen from her, and being rejected by her own family. I've heard she's been pretty battered, spiritually and emotionally.
I think I'm finally beginning to see how the pieces fit together.
I have asked her everything I can in my capacity as a prosecutor. This incident, everything related to it goes back to the history of the Fey clan.
That's what it looks like. Iris, there's just one more thing I want you to tell me.
What is it?
During the incident in which your sister, Dahlia Hawthorne, poisoned a lawyer, she began a relationship with a certain college student in order to hide the evidence. That college student. Have you heard anything about him?
Well, I did hear one thing. She said she hated his guts.
I see. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
Hurry up, Phoenix Wright. There is still much to investigate.
Leave these locks to me. I'll open them for you, I promise.
Thank you. I suppose I'd better continue my investigation. There's still one giant secret left to unlock. Pearl's Psyche Lock. Look at that. They really did make a fire right in the front of the shack.
Oh, Mr. Nick.
You're too late, Nick. If you came here for one of our potatoes, we've already polished them all off.
I think I've pretty much got all the evidence I need. Now I just need to find out what Pearls is hiding. The night of the crime. After dinner on the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Elise Dunham's room reading a book together, correct?
Yes, I was so happy when she invited me. But I didn't go in the end.
You didn't go?
No, there was someone somewhere else I had to go instead. I was so worried I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous.
The Pearls never went to Miss Dunham's room because she was too worried about something or someone else. Pearls. On the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you? You went here, didn't you, Pearls? Looks like she's still not going to open up to me. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? Then the next question is, who or what were you so worried about? Now I'm going to take a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay?
You mean you know?
If I'm right, will you tell me the whole truth?
Okay.
You went to this place for one very simple reason. That is this. It's obvious what you were so worried about, Pearls. It was Maya, wasn't it?
Huh.
You knew the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was the special course.
I signed up for your special course.
Well, my, quite brave of you considering how cold it is. Young people can be so reckless with their health. Don't blame me if you become one of those you channel. Whoa. Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? And because it was you who introduced Hazakura Temple to Maya in the first place, you felt responsible, didn't you?
Thinking about what could happen to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still at all. That's why I decided to go and find out how she was doing at the Inner Temple.
Then we're clear now that you were Then we're clear now that you went to the Inner Temple that night, Pearls. What's not clear is what happened after that. About what time was it when you headed over to the Inner Temple?
It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real training was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started. But there was so much snow, so I didn't get there until after 10 o'clock.
Until after 10? How did you know what time it was?
Because I heard the bell ringing for lights out.
She heard the lights out bell. The Hazakura Temple's bell is pretty small, though, isn't it? You must be really good at hearing.
I was really trying to pick up the sound of that bell, that's all. I didn't want to miss it. That would be terrible.
He was trying to hear the bell. Tell me, Pearls, why were you so worried about hearing that bell?
Huh? Oh, I
think I know why. The reason you were so worried about that bell was because of this. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, yeah. You were given some instructions to follow for that night, weren't you? I presume you recognize these pieces of paper?
Where did you...
In the incinerator at the Inner Temple. Pearls. You were following the instructions in this letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the lights out bell.
I'm speechless, Mr. Nick. You're amazing.
These instructions that were found in the incinerator. I believe they were written for you, Pearls.
For me? No.
As you can see, a large portion has been burned. But the last section is still fairly legible. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Who was it, Pearls? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Taking into account the author of the note and their purpose for writing it, whose spirit would Pearls have been trying to channel? Don't overthink it, Phoenix. It's pretty obvious who Pearls was supposed to channel. The person you were trying to channel that night, Pearls, was... It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? That was the name that was in the letter. Just as I suspected. It wasn't Iris who Sister Bikini met at the Inner Temple that night. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you know anything about her, Pearls? Do you know what kind of a woman Dahlia Hawthorne was?
No. I've never heard of anyone by that name before reading these instructions.
I thought so. Pearls doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know that Dahlia is her sister. About the instructions in the letter I found, Pearls. Who wrote them? Whoever it was asked you to channel the spirit of someone you'd never heard of. You must have quite a lot of respect for them. After all, you followed their instructions without question. So here's my next question. Who wrote this set of instructions for you to follow? Pearls. I have to wonder about something. You didn't have any idea what these instructions meant, did you? So you followed them to the but you followed them to the letter regardless. Why? Because it was your own mother who asked you, that's why.
How did you...
I figured it out. The person who wrote you this letter was your own mother, Morgan Fay. All right, Pearls. It's time you started telling me the truth.
Mr. Nick,
She's not holding back from me. Why's she still holding back from me? I don't like this.
Don't misunderstand me just because I'm a child.
Huh?
If you're trying to say I follow these instructions, I like to see them proof.
What?
Because I don't think you have any.
Ugh. She'd say anything rather than admit to carrying out these instructions. I guess I'll have to produce some more evidence then. One more thing should do it. Alright, Pearls. We both know someone carried out these instructions on the night of the murder. But you're right. There's no evidence that proves it was you.
I knew it.
However, I do know that whoever did it was a child.
Huh? How did you know that?
It couldn't have been an adult. No adult would have made a simple mistake like that.
Simple mistake? What do you mean by that?
I'm sure you thought you were carefully following the instructions you've been given, but you misunderstood some of the words, and this is the evidence that proves it. It was you who splattered gravy on this hanging scroll, wasn't it?
What? Why would I do something like that?
Do you remember what was written in that letter? Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition? But you didn't know how to read the word gravely and roast, among others, right?
How did you know that?
Remember the conversation you had with Miss Dunham on the night of the murder?
Perhaps we can read some books together. Really? I'd love to. I'm not very good at reading.
Ha ha ha. Well then, would you like to practice reading with me?
Miss Elise? So, for example, how do you read this?
It says gravely. That's kind of a tough word. Sure, Miss Dunham taught you how to read gravely and roast. What she didn't teach you is what they meant.
Gravely sounded like gravy to me, and the only roast I could think of was the food.
And that's what you did. That's why you covered the picture of the master in gravy from that night's pot roast.
To be honest, I did think it was a bit strange. I guess I really did get the wrong idea.
Just a tiny bit.
I really am useless. I couldn't even burn the letter properly as my mother had asked of me. Such a simple thing, and I couldn't even do it right. It was written right in my mother's letter. It said, as soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. I was on my way over to the inner temple when I heard the bell ring.
So you channeled Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit?
No. I tried, but I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it?
I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. I tried and I tried and I tried. Yesterday, this morning, the whole time. But I just couldn't do it.
Don't let it get you down, Pearl. It'll all work out. If you want, I'll come flying through the sky for you. Whoosh. Just like that.
So she never managed to channel the spirit. Is that why you think your spiritual powers are gone?
Yes, I don't know what to do.
Isn't there any other explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit?
I suppose there's one other possibility. Not very likely, though.
Could you please tell me what it is anyway?
Could happen if someone else had already channeled the same spirit.
Someone else? What do you mean?
Well, there's only one of each spirit, right?
Yeah, it's like dating a girl, Nick. You can't see a hot chick if she's already taken.
Then that would mean on the night of the murder, someone else channeled her spirit before Pearls could. Someone else channeled the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne.
I'm a failure. I couldn't even grant my mother's final wish.
Her final wish?
Yes, this letter. This is my last wish, she said. But make sure you follow the instructions carefully.
This letter. I definitely need to find out more about it.
After dinner that night, I did go to the inner temple. With a pot full of leftover gravy.
The gravy?
I saw the picture of the hanging scroll near the sacred cavern. I was sure it was the Master of Crane, like it said in the letter.
I see. And then?
Well, it was already way past 10 when I got there because of all the snow. I went to the inner temple guest area.
The guest area?
Yes, I thought I could wait there until the training was over.
Then why didn't you just go to the training hall?
Because Mystic Maya's main training had already started, and I couldn't interrupt it. So I just stayed there. So I just stayed where I was and prayed for her to get through it. But then
Pearls, did you fall asleep?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it.
Hey, don't worry about it, Pearl. Who cares if you fell asleep? I fall asleep waiting for Iris, too. It happens.
Anyway, then you found yourself trapped in the inner temple.
Yes, when I woke up, it was morning. I tried not to cry, but Dusky Bridge wasn't there anymore, and there was no one in the training hall. I thought everyone had left me because I overslept. I threw the letter into the incinerator, then I heated up the leftover gravy and
let some of it steam up, chucking the gravy on the scroll while you cried.
It must have been pretty scary for you, Pearl. I know what it's like. Nick used to leave me behind when I fell asleep at school, too.
Don't equate something so trivial with her experience, Larry.
my mother has gone to a place called a penitentiary.
Yeah, I know, Pearls.
I visit her every month, and last month she told me...
The time we've been waiting for has come, Pearl. There's something I need you to do for me. I hid a letter for you at our home before they brought me here. I want you to read it and do exactly what it says. It's for the good of the Fae clan, my angel. You'll be doing a great thing. Now listen carefully, and I'll tell you where the letter's hidden.
My mother is always nice to me. I love her very much.
Yeah, moms will do anything for their kids, right?
She said it was for the good of the Fae clan, so I knew I had to help her. I mean, Mystic Maya's part of the Fae clan, so it had to be good for her, too. That's right, isn't it, Nick?
I guess so, yeah.
There was a picture with her letter, too,
A picture?
of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Usually a picture is enough to channel someone's spirit, but this time...
Pretty weird, huh?
Like Larry knows anything about this stuff.
There's something else that was strange about my mother's letter. The seal on it was broken, as if someone had already opened it once before.
That sure is pretty strange.
Someone had opened it already? Orders from Morgan Fay opened once before. Thanks, Pearls. You really helped me out.
You're very welcome. My mother is watching over us. So I'm sure Mystic Maya will be all right.
Look at that innocent smile on her face. What am I supposed to say to her? Ha! Finally figured it out, have you, Trite? You finally realized how terrible of a crime being painfully oblivious is. Godot, the entrance to the sacred cavern looks like a freaking puzzle workshop. I guess he's talking about Iris and the lock-breaking effort. But it's all a waste of time. Why do you say that? Because Maya Fey isn't coming back. What? You don't know what you're talking about. How could you say something like that? It was your job to protect her, Trite. Just like it was your job to protect Mia Fey. Two sisters caught up in the worst circumstances. I realize that, but... And you were the only one who was by their sides. You were the only one who could have saved them. But I didn't know anything about what was going on. Ah! What did I just say, Trite? Being oblivious is a heinous crime in itself. Tomorrow. We'll settle everything in court tomorrow. Once and for all.
Mr. Nick, is what that man just said true?
It'll be alright, Pearls. I'm sure Maya's alive. You'll see her yourself tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. I know I can trust you, Mr. Nick.
My dear Pearl, you've done so well, my child. My Pearl. It's better that you don't know what you've done. I knew this day would come for you. The blood of the main family is no more. Now, finally, after all this time, the Master's seat is yours. My last great wish. It seems I was just in time.
Alrighty. Ooh. Time for the final trial. Next time. This trial's probably going to be like 3 to 4 hours long. I think it's 3 parts. I think it's a 3-part trial for the last trial. It's going to be decently long. And it's going to be great. Oh boy. Yeah. It's just continuing to be just so good. I don't know what to say. There is no flaws. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just the perfect culmination of everything. So I'll just stop here, and next time we'll head into the final trial of the final case of this final game in the trilogy, the first trilogy. And that'll probably be it for Phoenix Wright for a little bit. So yeah, thank you all for watching, especially if you got this far, and stick around, because there's a lot more to come.